Sorceress Sellen. Most of you are already aware of her existence, especially if you play as a mage. She is the key to obtain Azure and Lusat sets after all. But not many of you know about Sellen's story and what happened to her at the end of her quest. So in today's video I will answer to the question, who exactly is Sorcerer Sellen? Sellen was a student at the Academy of Rea Lucaria, the place from almost all the mages comes from. The academy was founded by 5 powerful mages, 2 of them being Azure and Lusat, and with the help of the Carian royal family they created a place where people could study glintstone magic, which is also described as the study of the stars. Sellen was very known in the academy. She was the most promising sorcerer in the history of the academy, and this place was as powerful as the capital Lindell, so we can only assume that she was extremely talented. She was admired by a lot of students, one of them being Toops.
Sellen was well known, the most promising sorceress in the history of the academy. I followed her at school.
She also received the Witch Glintstone crown, which was given to those who were deemed worthy. But Sellen was interested in something much greater than what was at the academy. One day she learned about the primeval current. It was a type of magic that was very dangerous, because to perform it you have to give something back. So the study of the primeval current was forbidden by the royal family, and everyone who tried to practice it was expelled from the academy. Sellen learned about the primeval current from her first teacher, who was Azure. Azure and Lusat were very interested in the study of the primeval current, so they were expelled too from the academy. It's not clear if Azure was Sellen's teacher before or after he was expelled, but even after they were expelled, they still continued to experiment and study the primeval current, and they were actually able to see it. So what is the primeval current? Well, it's a vague concept, and we don't know exactly. We know from Comet Azure's description that when Azure glimpsed into the primeval current, he saw darkness, and he was left both bewitched and fearful of the abyss. The closest thing to this description is the void, and there are a lot of stars born in the void. Astel is one of them, a living star born from the void. So we can assume that the primeval current comes from the void and it's some sort of voidy star magic. And if you know something about the void, is never something good about it. After Azure and Lusat made contact with the primeval current, their heads were transformed. Azure into a giant crystal and Lusat into a giant eye thing. These so-called crowns replace their brains and skulls altogether, and if you remove it from their heads, they will just die. They can't even move properly. When you try to speak with them, they don't say a word. They just move their hands very slowly, giving you a spell. But let's get back to Sellen. Shortly after she learned about the primeval current, she became obsessed with it. She did not care what was need to pay or about any morals. She only cared to take magic to a whole different level. And so, she started to make experiments on other mages from the academy. You probably have seen this enemy. It's called the School of Graven Mages. It's an amalgamation of mages combined to create some sort of star. The Graven School talisman description says, the primeval current is a forbidden tradition of glintstone sorcery. To those who cleave to its teachings, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into a seed of star is but another path of scientific inquiry. So it seems that this school of graven mages is a method into learning and studying about the primeval current. It's made to be more close to the stars and maybe even the void. It is also called the nightmare of the academy. The mages transformed into that thing are still alive, so this is a phase to worse than death, and their voice full of suffering still haunts the academy to this day. So people at the academy are very scared of this. In the room where you find the Azure stuff is a giant graven school, which was probably created by Azure, and you can see stars around it. So this thing actually works. It's probably the key to communicating or restoring and using that type of magic, and this is the price that needs to be paid. After a while, the academy discovered Sellen experiments, and it said that many mages fell to her hand, meaning she created a lot of this school of graven mages. So Sellen was expelled from the academy, and now she is known as the most dangerous mage in the entire history of the academy. and that really says something. After the expel, something had happened, but we don't know what. We only know that she received help from Celivus, and that might be tied to Celivus' puppets. It is possible that she asked him to make a puppet of her so she could transfer her soul into that puppet in case something happened to the main body, or that she already transferred into a new body. It's not very clear, and we don't have too much information about it. She was also hunted by the witch hunter Jiren, who made the promise to E.G. to take her down. Jiren was a guest of the Carian royal family, and he was probably asked to deal with the mages that tried to use forbidden magic, hence the name Witch Hunter. But Jiren stopped hunting Sellen for a time. At one point he took the banner of Radahn, and after his master was cursed, he wanted to bring him an honorable death. So he was busy with the organization of a festival to put Radahn down. So for now, Jiren will not go after her. Sellen was also imprisoned in the Witchbane ruins by the Academy. At the entrance of the cave you can find another school of graven mages. But why is it there? Did Sellen put it there to protect her from unwanted visitors, or was the Academy? But why they didn't just kill her if she was so dangerous? We will probably never get an answer to that. From here on, Sellen's story and her plan will continue with the help of a tarnished warrior. After you accept to be Sellen's apprentice, you can start her quest. If you also started Ranni's quest, Celivus will send you to get some information from Sellen, saying that she owns him from the time he helped her after she was expelled. Sellen is not very happy to hear again the name Celivus, meaning that the two of them don't have a very good relation.
Well, well. Celivus is not a name I ever wanted to hear again.
In your journey you can find Azor, and he will give you the Comet Azor spell. When you show the spell to Sellen, she thinks that Azor might have seen something in you, so Sellen started to think that you might help her to restore the primeval current. So she asks you if you help her. If you accept, she will send you to find Lusat's body, and with the bodies of Azur and Lusat, who they saw the primeval current, she can restore it and use it. Or at least this is what she believes. For the next step you need to defeat Radahn. If you speak to Jiren, he will say that now with the festival over, he is no longer bound to the fortress, so he can go and take care of an old promise. The promise made to E.G. to kill Sellen.
Now the festival is over, and General Radahn is defeated. Jiren's duties are finally fulfilled. Now the time has come to remind him of an old promise made.
The next time you visit Sellen, she will reveal that she is a projection and her true body is imprisoned in the Witchbane ruins, and somebody will come after her, which is Jiren.
She was known as the Graven Witch. Obsessed by the primeval current, countless sorcerers fell to her hand. The most dangerous mage in the entire history of Rhea Lucaria's academy. She's dead now.
When you meet with her real body, she will ask you to remove her primal glintstone from her body. This stone contains her essence, and now you need to find her a new body. And you can find one in Celivus' basement, where he keeps all his puppets. After you get her a new body, she will be free, and now she can return to the academy and put her plan in motion. But she seems that she needs to deal with a final thing before that. She needs to face Jiren, and you can choose to help her. In the fight, Sellen tells Jiren that she wants to add him to the school, this school, to reflect on his mistakes. And after Jiren is defeated, Sellen brings the bodies of Azur and Lusat back to the academy, and she can start to restore the primeval current and take over the academy. She even says that the Queen of Caria is no more, but this is not true. She is still in the room just behind the bookcase. Is she not aware of this? After you reload the room, well, Sellen has been transformed in a school of graven mages, probably alongside Azur and Lusat bodies, and Renala returned to her place. You can still talk to Sellen, but she doesn't seem to be too well.
My... Oh, friend...
So, it's time for the big question. What happened to her? Well, there are multiple possibilities, but I will present only these two because I think are the most likely. First one is that maybe whoever is in charge of the academy did this to her, or even Renala herself, to to punish her for trying to take her place, but if we take into account in what state Renala is, it doesn't seem to be the case. She never speaks about this event. The only hint we have is from what Sellen said and the fact they are in the same room. And also I don't think the leaders of the academy did this because, well, why would they use the magic that they consider to be a taboo? Maybe because they wanted Sellen to feel the horrors of her actions? Both of them are possible, but I think it's the second option. When she tried to restore the primeval current. To restore it, she will need a star seed, a graven skull, and it's hinted that she added Azur and Lusat's body to the graven skull to amplify the effect, but in the process something might have been gone wrong and she too was added to the bowl. She tried to push this magic too far, and this is the price that she had to pay. Or maybe even the void tricked her or punished her for that, and now she can barely speak, and with the time she will probably lose her will and consciousness, becoming just another face on that giant ball of bodies, suffering for eternity. This might be one of the saddest endings of all the NPC in the Elden Ring, but I think we can agree that she deserved this. She ruined the life of countless mages in the academy because of her greed and her lack of morals, and now everything backfired at her. She tried to play with fire and in the end she got burned. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear the stories of more NPCs from Elden Ring, well, I will be more than happy to make a series out of this. But for that I will need your support. So anything like a share, like, comment, subscribe, any of this will help me. But until that, I hope you will have a good day and I will see you in my next video.
Can't make it, the shit's stuck. Out of my way, son! Door stuck! Door stuck!
What? Something is happening.